Chapter 69. Then Satan, the hater of all good, envious of Adam and his offering, through which he found favor with God, hastened and took a sharp stone from among sharp iron stones, appeared in the form of a man, and went and stood by Adam and Eve. Adam was then offering on the altar, and had begun to pray, with his hands spread unto God. Then Satan hastened with the sharp iron stone he had with him, and with it pierced Adam on the right side, when flowed blood and water. Then Adam fell upon the altar like a corpse, and Satan fled. Then Eve came and took Adam and placed him below the altar. And there she stayed weeping over him, while a stream of blood flowed from Adam's side upon his offering. But God looked upon the death of Adam. He then sent his word, and raised him up, and said unto him, Fulfill thy offering, for indeed, Adam, it is worth much, and there is no shortcoming in it. God said further unto Adam, Thus will it also happen to me on the earth, when I shall be pierced, and blood shall flow, blood and water from my side, and run over my body, which is the true offering, and which shall be offered on the altar as a perfect offering. Then God commanded Adam to finish his offering, and when he had ended it, he worshipped before God, and praised him for the signs he had showed him. And God healed Adam in 1 day, which is the end of the 7 weeks, and that is the 50th day. Then Adam and Eve returned from the mountain, and went into the cave of treasures, as they were used to do. This completed for Adam and Eve 140 days since their coming out of the garden. Then they both stood up that night and prayed to God. And when it was morning, they went out, and went down westward of the cave, to the place where their corn was, and there rested under the shadow of a tree, as they were wont. But when there a multitude of beasts came all around them, it was Satan's doing in his wickedness, in order to wage war against Adam through marriage. Chapter 70. After this, Satan, the hater of all good, took the form of an angel, and with him 2 others, so that they looked like the 3 angels who had brought to Adam gold, incense, and myrrh. They passed before Adam and Eve while they were under the tree, and greeted Adam and Eve with fair words that were full of guile. But when Adam and Eve saw their comely mien, and heard their sweet speech, Adam rose, welcomed them, and brought them to Eve, and they remained all together. Adam's heart the while being glad, because he thought concerning them that they were the same angels who had brought him gold, incense, and myrrh. Because when they came to Adam the first time, there came upon him from them peace and joy through their bringing him good tokens. So Adam thought that they were come a second time to give him other tokens for him to rejoice withal. For he did not know it was Satan. Therefore did he receive them with joy, and companied with them. Then Satan, the tallest of them, said, Rejoice, O Adam, and be glad. Lo, God has sent us to thee to tell thee something. And Adam said, What is it? Then Satan answered, It is a light thing, yet it is a word of God. Wilt thou hear it from us, and do it? But if thou hearest not, we will return to God, and tell him that thou wouldest not receive his word. And Satan said again to Adam, Fear not, neither let a trembling come upon thee. Dost not thou know us? But Adam said, I know you not. Then Satan said to him, I am the angel who brought thee gold, and took it to the cave. This other one is he who brought thee incense, and that third one is he who brought thee myrrh when thou wast on the top of the mountain, and who carried thee to the cave. But as to the other angels, our fellows, who bear you to the cave, God has not sent them with us this time. For he said to us, You suffice. So when Adam heard these words, he believed them, and said to these angels, Speak the word of God, that I may receive it. And Satan said unto him, Swear, and promise me that thou wilt receive it. Then Adam said, I know not how to swear and promise. And Satan said to him, Hold out thy hand, and put it inside my hand. Then Adam held out his hand, and put it into Satan's hand. When Satan said unto him, Say now, so true as God is living, rational, and speaking, who raised the heavens in the space, and established the earth upon the waters, and has created me out of the 4 elements, and out of the dust of the earth, I will not break my promise, nor renounce my word. And Adam swore thus. Then Satan said to him, Lo, it is now some time since thou camest out of the garden, and thou knowest neither wickedness nor evil. But now God says to thee to take Eve who came out of thy side, and to wed her, that she bear thee children, to comfort thee, and to drive from thee trouble and sorrow. Now this thing is not difficult, neither is there any scandal in it to thee. Chapter 71. But when Adam heard these words from Satan, he sorrowed much, because of his oath and of his promise, and said, Shall I commit adultery with my flesh and my bones, and shall I sin against myself, for God to destroy me, and to blot me out from off the face of the earth? Since, when at first I ate of the tree, he drove me out of the garden into this strange land, and deprived me of my bright nature, and brought death upon me. If then I should do this, he will cut off my life from the earth, and he will cast me into hell, and will plague me there a long time. But God never spoke the words thou hast told me, and ye are not God's angels, nor yet sent from God. But ye are devils, come to me under the false appearance of angels. Away from me, ye cursed of God. Then those devils fled from before Adam, and he and Eve arose and returned to the cave of treasures, and went into it. Then Adam said to Eve, If thou sawest what I did, tell it not, for I sinned against God in swearing by his great name, and I have placed my hand another time into that of Satan. Eve then held her peace, as Adam told her. Then Adam arose and spread his hands unto God, beseeching and entreating him with tears to forgive him what he had done. And Adam remained thus standing and praying 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate nor drank until he dropped down upon the earth from hunger and thirst. Then God sent his word unto Adam, who raised him up from where he lay, and said unto him, O Adam, why hast thou sworn by my name, and why hast thou made agreement with Satan another time? But Adam wept and said, O God, forgive me, for I did this unwittingly, believing they were God's angels. And God forgave Adam, saying to him, Beware of Satan. And he withdrew his word from Adam. Then Adam's heart was comforted, and he took Eve, and they went out of the cave to make some food for their bodies. But from that day Adam struggled in his mind about his wedding Eve, afraid as he was to do it, lest God should be wroth with him. Then Adam and Eve went to the river of water, and sat on the bank, as people do when they enjoy themselves. But Satan was jealous of them, and would destroy them. Chapter 72. Then Satan and 10 from his hosts transformed themselves into maidens, unlike any others in the whole world, for grace. And they came up out of the river in presence of Adam and Eve, and they said amongst themselves, Come, we will look at the faces of Adam and of Eve, who are of the men upon earth. How beautiful they are, and how different is their look from our own faces. Then they came to Adam and Eve, and greeted them, and stood wondering at them. Adam and Eve looked at them also, and wondered at their beauty, and said, Is there then under us another world, with such beautiful creatures as these in it? And those maidens said to Adam and Eve, Yes, indeed, we are an abundant creation. Then Adam said to them, But how do you multiply? And they answered him, We have husbands who wedded us, and we bear them children, who grow up, and who in their turn wed and are wedded, and also bear children. And thus we increase. And if so be, O Adam, thou wilt not believe us, we will show thee our husbands and our children. Then they shouted over the river, as if to call their husbands and their children, who came up from the river, men and children, and everyone came to his wife, his children being with him. But when Adam and Eve saw them, they stood dumb, and wondered at them. Then they said to Adam and Eve, You see our husbands and our children. Wed Eve as we wed our wives, and you shall have children the same as we. This was a device of Satan to deceive Adam. Satan also thought within himself, God at first commanded Adam concerning the fruit of the tree, saying to him, Eat not of it, else of death thou shalt die. But Adam ate of it, and yet God did not kill him. He only decreed upon him death, and plagues and trials, until the day he shall come out of his body. Now then, if I deceive him to do this thing, and to wed Eve without God's commandment, God will kill him then. Therefore did Satan work this apparition before Adam and Eve, because he sought to kill him, and to make him disappear from off the face of the earth. Meanwhile the fire of sin came upon Adam, and he thought of committing sin. But he restrained himself, fearing lest if he followed this advice of Satan, God would put him to death. Then Adam and Eve arose and prayed to God, while Satan and his hosts went down into the river in presence of Adam and Eve, to let them see that they were going back to their own regions. Then Adam and Eve went back to the cave of treasures, as they were wont, about evening time. And they both arose and prayed to God that night. Adam remained standing in prayer, yet not knowing how to pray, by reason of the thoughts of his heart regarding his wedding Eve, and he continued so until morning. And when light arose, Adam said unto Eve, Arise, let us go below the mountain, where they brought us gold, and let us ask the Lord concerning this matter. Then Eve said, What is that matter, O Adam? And he answered her, That I may request the Lord to inform me about wedding thee. For I will not do it without his order, lest he make us perish, thee and me. For those devils have set my heart on fire, with thoughts of what they showed us in their sinful apparitions. Then Eve said to Adam, Why need we go below the mountain? Let us rather stand up and pray in our cave to God, to let us know whether this counsel is good or not. Then Adam rose up in prayer and said, O God, thou knowest that we transgressed against thee, and from the moment we transgressed we were bereft of our bright nature, and our body became brutish, requiring food and drink, and with animal desires. Command us, O God, not to give way to them without thy order, lest thou bring us to nothing. For if thou give us not the order, we shall be overpowered, and follow that advice of Satan, and thou wilt again make us perish. If not, then take our souls from us. Let us be rid of this animal lust. And if thou give us no order respecting this thing, then sever Eve from me, and me from her, and place us each far away from the other. Yet again, O God, when thou hast put us asunder from each other, the devils will deceive us with their apparitions, and destroy our hearts, and defile our thoughts towards each other. Yet if it is not each of us towards the other, it will, at all events, be through their appearance when they show themselves to us. Here Adam ended his prayer. Chapter 73. Then God looked upon the words of Adam, that they were true, and that he could long await his order respecting the counsel of Satan. And God approved Adam in what he had thought concerning this, and in the prayer he had offered in his presence. And the word of God came unto Adam, and said to him, O Adam, if only thou hadst had this caution at first, ere thou camest out of the garden into this land. After that God sent his angel who had brought gold, and the angel who had brought incense, and the angel who had brought myrrh to Adam, that they should inform him respecting his wedding Eve. Then those angels said to Adam, Take the gold and give it to Eve as a wedding gift, and betroth her. Then give her some incense and myrrh as a present, and be ye, thou and she, one flesh. Adam hearkened to the angels, and took the gold, and put it into Eve's bosom in her garment, and betrothed her with his hand. Then the angels commanded Adam and Eve to arise and pray 40 days and 40 nights, and after that Adam should come in to his wife, for then this would be an act pure and undefiled, and he should have children who would multiply and replenish the face of the earth. Then both Adam and Eve received the words of the angels, and the angels departed from them. Then Adam and Eve began to fast and to pray until the end of the 40 days, and then they came together as the angels had told them. And from the time Adam left the garden until he wedded Eve were 223 days, that is 7 months and 13 days. Thus was Satan's war with Adam defeated.